So I've known Miss Rose since I was a small child, and she started teaching Sabbath School when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and we became very close. And she gave me Bible studies then. I remember just how happy I was for my grandmother to bring us to Sabbath School because it was something that we really enjoyed every week. And so we moved away from my grandmother when I was about 12 years old, and we stopped coming to Sabbath School. It'd been about a 20-year gap, and I had decided to come back to church because life had been hard for me, and I wanted to come back to what I knew. When I came back to church, I was like 29 years old, and I seen Miss Rose. And I was so shocked to see Miss Rose because I didn't think that she still came to this church. It'd been so long, and I was a child. I was just so happy when I seen her. It just amazed me.
When my husband and I moved here to this church about 25 years ago, I was immediately put in charge of the children's department. Now, there were 3 children, all siblings, about a year apart, and they were very well behaved and easily taught. Well, shortly thereafter, we had 2 more members introduced into our class. It was Kristen and her sister Vanessa. It was just a pleasure to teach them, and they came very faithfully as long as their parents lived across the street from the grandmother. But when the move was made, the parents, neither one, were very much into spiritual things, so the things of this world took over their lives. And then one Sabbath, 20 years later, when she was 29, she appeared here at the church with her little daughter, Zendaya, and I could not believe my eyes. And after church, she came running over to me, put her arms around my neck and said, "Miss Rose, I'm so glad to see you." She said, "I want to come back to church. I want to study. I want to learn all about the beliefs. I want to join this church and be a part of it." So my husband and I both volunteered to give her Bible studies. And at the end of the Bible lessons, she said, "I want to be baptized because I know this is the right church and this is where I need to be."
Coming back to church, it was great for me. And unfortunately, my dad had passed away at 54 years old from a stroke. He was my light. He was a great dad. And learning the things that I had learned coming to church and being around my church family and Miss Rose, it helped me so much to deal with the fact that he's no longer here. What made me decide to get baptized is because I needed a change in my life. And I knew that only change would be Jesus Christ. And when you learn how God really is, how we have free will and how blessed we are, and how the world really should be, it makes you want to give your life to that, because that is the most beautiful life.
You know, it's been such a blessing to this church to have Kristen and have this story of her coming back to church and see the work that you do day in and day out in Sabbath School sometimes can be kind of monotonous. Are you doing any good? Is anything getting into those kids? And to see a story like this where Kristen comes back into the church from remembering childhood Sabbath School and the impact one teacher can have should be an encouragement to all of our members. Children's Sabbath School is evangelism. And that is what is so impactful in this story. And we just have been blessed by Kristen, by Rose and her ministry. And I think this story is going to continue to play on and be impactful to Kristen's children as they come here to church as well.
Now, it's very difficult for Kristen because she has such an age gap in her children. She has her son, 15, and 2 little ones, 5 and 6. Now we're going to have little Juliet. And not long ago, we had a baby shower in the fellowship hall for Kristen. I didn't know how many people were going to come, but do you know that in this little church, we're doing good on Sabbath if we have 15 people, 10 maybe. There was 35 people at her baby shower, and she got a lot of nice things. And I just feel like that she really loves Jesus. Even though life is still a challenge for her, she has determined in her heart that she's going to do what's right.
You know, understanding how to be a good parent and how to raise my children. Also, how to put others before myself. So that's really helped me. It's helped me so much to understand things and just be a better person, to be an unselfish person. And be around wonderful people and have the influence of a wonderful person like Miss Rose in my life that brought me to this.
It is so truly amazing to me and rewarding to me as a person that Kristen, after all these years, still remembered what I had taught them in Sabbath School and chose to come back and be a part of this remnant church with her little family. And we just pray that God will give her strength and courage to continue in her spiritual walk.
So in my life, I had a great start with my grandmother bringing me to church, and I walked away from that, and it was hard. But now that I'm here with my church family and with Miss Rose again, I know this is exactly where God wants me to be. And I know that with this, it's the best quality of life.